And tonight, as we enter into the Christmas season, there is brand new evidence that Christians are under attack by Muslim extremists. Now, here's why. Earlier today, an Egyptian court sentenced 7 Egyptian Christians and a Florida-based pastor to death for their roles in the amateur and controversial YouTube video, The Innocence of Muslims. And while the 8 who were convicted will likely never have to face the sentence, this points to a much larger problem and highlights the blatant lack of tolerance, the total disregard for free speech by radical Islamists. Joining me now with reaction, Fox News contributor and author of best-selling book, The Culture of Corruption, Michelle Malkin. Here, a couple of things that are bothering me here. The pro-democracy protesters now that are in Tahrir Square, we don't see as much coverage of this that's going on tonight and has been going on for a number of days. They're asking in the square, why is the United States backing the wrong side? Why is the Obama State Department, why did they say earlier today, this guy's not a dictator? Can you explain that?
Dimitude on the part of the State Department, and it's a virus that has infected our State Department officials for years now, whether it's a Democrat administration or a Republican administration, unfortunately. Foggy Bottom is called Foggy Bottom for a reason, and it's the fog of moral equivalence with which they've dealt with these barbaric Islamic jihadists for far too long. And the reason why you're not seeing these protests, and believe me, these young pro-freedom, pro-democracy activists are as loud as ever on social media, but you don't see them on the mainstream news because they do not fit the narrative of these self-appointed progressives who supposedly champion democracy, but then now are looking the other way. And of course, at the State Department are tamping it down and speaking in double talk while there is so much subjugation of women, for example. Where are all the stories? We're covering them on Twitchy.com, my social media aggregator, of reports of brutal maulings and sexual assault of female demonstrators, but you don't hear about that, and you certainly do not hear about the systemic persecution of Christians that has been on the rise since the vaunted Arab Spring. That then, all of the things you're saying are dead on accurate, and the Obama administration elevated President Morsi, who was supporting Hamas during this recent dust-up with Israel. So it begs the question, are these protesters right? Is Barack Obama backing an Egyptian dictator, a radical Islamist? Yes. Well, let me borrow a favorite phrase of the liberals. Silence is complicity. And that's exactly what's happening here. The silence from this administration about Christian persecution, the silence about the sentencing to death of these Coptic Christians and Terry Jones over this stupid video, the silence about the suppression of free speech that continues in Egypt is damning, and it is an indictment of this administration for continuing to back what these democracy movement activists are calling the new pharaoh. Well, that's interesting, because Drudge had an interesting piece up on his site. Is Morsi about to turn Egypt into the new Iran? Well, look, if you want to know what the blueprint for an Islamic caliphate enabled by Western ignoramuses looks like, look at Egypt now. The propping up of Morsi during the Gaza conflict allowed him to turn around and then usher in this new power grab that is causing so much civil unrest now. And it's exactly playing into the hands of the Muslim Brotherhood. Let me ask you a question. Why doesn't the administration see the danger? This is a Muslim Brotherhood guy. He supported the terrorist group Hamas in the recent dust-up. We're giving them billions of dollars. Hillary treats him and gives him gravitas. And meanwhile, he is turning into a dictator before our very eyes, and there's utter silence. Why do they not see the danger that he is a radical Islamist that poses to the whole world? Oh, they see it all too well. We can't even give them the benefit of the doubt. Of course they do. And this goes back to the ideology, not just of Susan Rice, not just of Hillary Clinton. This goes back to Barack Obama himself. And I will never forget the Dimi article that he wrote after 9/11, where he tried to excuse Islamic violence and Islamic terrorism after the terrorist attacks here on American soil by shilling this pablum, this progressive pablum, that it was poverty and lack of education that caused the spread of Islamic Jihad. Excuse me, Mohammed Morsi was educated at the University of Southern California and was a professor at the Cal State Northridge campus, KSM. So many of these Muslim Brotherhood mullahs were educated right here in the West. They know exactly what they're doing, and they're playing America's leaders for fools.
All right, Michelle Malkin, thanks for that insightful report. Appreciate you being with us.